What does it really cost to relocate and settle in Abuja? That is what we're looking at in today's video. And I'm going to answer that question before we move ahead. I would say it's going to cost you lots of guts, bravery, not small bravery, big bravery, and then let your mind be made up against all odds. So no matter how Abuja humbles you, you won't pack your load and return back home. Relocating to a place like Abuja without a plan will drain you, especially if you're coming from cities like Enugu, Ekiti, Yobe. Now, these are non-cosmopolitan cities, places where the life there is, let's say, the cost of living there is relatively low. There is slow, let's say, slow competition, or rather low competition, and then you can survive comfortably, very comfortably, without spending so much. But now in Abuja will test your budgeting skills, your patience, most importantly your money making skills. First, let's be honest and establish the fact that Abuja is not cheap. So when you're planning, do not only plan for the rent, but we're going to look at the rent first. So depending on where you want to stay, either you want to stay in a self-contained room, a house, you want to stay in a one bedroom, two bedroom, three bedroom, or a duplex. Rent ranges differently for different locations. So for a self-con, you could spend, depending on where exactly, you could spend from 800,000 all the way to 3 million, 3.5 million, depends on the area. The next one is a one bedroom apartment. If that's what you're looking for, or that's the kind of house you want to stay in, rent here starts from 1.5 million and above. Now, if it is a two bedroom, it starts from 2 million and above. And if it is a three bedroom, you should be looking at 2.5 million and above, right? In some locations, a three-bedroom apartment only for rent will cost you roughly 15 to 20 million. That's why I said it depends on the location. Now, most Abuja landlords will not hear monthly payment, right? So usually what happens here is a 12-month payment, that's a yearly payment for your rent. And sometimes some landlords request 2 years upfront payments as soon as you're ready to make payments. The second one is transportation costs. Abuja is fine, Abuja is beautiful, Abuja has wide roads, is neatly planned. At the same time, Abuja is far. Where you consider far in some cities is considered close in Abuja. So where you live versus where you work might likely be a challenge. That is why it is advisable that you live close to your place of work. This will save you transportation costs. Now, for some persons, they could spend, let's say, 3,000 to 5,000 to 10,000 naira daily on transportation. It depends on where you're staying. And if you own a car, you could spend over 100,000 naira to fill up your tank, right? It's going to cost you a lot. And imagine if your house is far, how much fuel are you going to plan for in a month? In a month is even far. How much fuel are you going to be spending on daily transporting yourself to and from work? So in Abuja, distance is not just distance. It is stress, time plus money. Another thing you should consider is lifestyle costs. Now, if you're not careful, this one is going to eat your money gradually. Now, when I talk about lifestyle, I'm talking about those places you want to hang out for social engagement, those places including taking care of your bills, like your electricity bills, light bills, data, water, and all of that put together. So when you plan, you have to plan for all of these inclusive. The fourth one is hidden expenses nobody tells you about. Now, even before you get to move or pay for a house, you're going to pay for inspection fees. Yes, you'd pay for inspection fees. So when budgeting, you have to include that in your budget. You pay for inspection fees, and when you get to the house, if you don't like it, you still pay that inspection fees, right? You're gonna pay like that, see houses until you eventually find the house you're looking for. So it is not just about the rent. There needs to be extra money that would take care of the inspection fees. Now, after paying for the house, it's not just the house. You're going to pay caution fees, agency and legacy fees. You're going to pay service charge depending on where you're living. If you're living in a gated community, of course, there's going to be service charge and security charge. So you're going to be paying for the security, that is guarding that house. And then when you move in, when things get to spoil in your house, or maybe there's something faulty, you need to fix it. Those bills are also depending on you to get all of that done. After all, it is your comfort. So you're going to fix it. And the fifth one is location cost. This is what a lot of people ignore. Now, that cheap house you saw in that location that you're intending to go pay for, ask yourself, at what cost? Some people live in very distant locations. Now, maybe you live outside Abuja, or a place that is about 2 hours drive in Abuja, and your place of work is the city center. So you're commuting mostly 1 to 2 hours in the morning before you get to your office, and you also commute 1 to 2 hours in the evening after close of work. Now, that is so stressful, number one. Number two, it is expensive. For some areas, you get to spend close to 3,000, and now, especially now that the fuel price have increased, if you're spending 3,000, no doubt you're going to be spending up to 5,000 on transportation right now. So you spend 5,000 going, 5,000 returning. That is about 10,000 naira in a day. Now tell me, how much do you earn? How much do you earn at the end of the month? Will your transport will you be spending over half of your salary only on transportation, simply because you want to live in a cheap house in that location? So what I suggest, or what we encourage you to do, is to look for houses that are close, because at the end of the day, that cheap house is really not cheap. It is expensive. Your time spent on the road could be used for something more productive, and then the money you're spending, and again, the stress you're going through. So that kind of stress, you'll be less productive even at the place of work. So how are you going to make more money? So what you should do best is to look for a location that is close to your place of work, or look for a place of work that is close to where you want to live, such that your commute time will be cut short, and the money you're spending will be cut short, will also reduce. Now, so if you live in the city center, maybe the rent for a room self-con is 2 million or 2.5 million. But at the end of the day, maybe you spend max 1,500 naira going and coming back from work. Maybe that's like 700 going, 700 coming back. It is better and cheaper compared to you staying in a place that you're paying 800 to 1,000, and at the end of the day, you're spending almost 10,000 naira a day on transportation. So relocating isn't just about packing your bags and moving into Abuja. It is proper planning, positioning, and preparing your finances. Now, if you want to relocate to Abuja and you don't want stories that touches the heart, plan properly. Prepare for, unforeseen circumstances. Whether you're relocating to live in a rented apartment, or maybe you want to buy a house and live in Abuja, just plan for the exact budget for the house, and also include the extras that come with it, so that you not find yourself in a very uncomfortable situation. Now, if you're that person and you're looking to own land or house right here in the city of Abuja, now I hope you understand what it truly takes to relocate and settle in the city of Abuja. For more information on guidelines or details or anything related to real estate right here in the city of Abuja, Call or WhatsApp the number you're seeing on the screen, and we will guide you through the entire process. See you soon.